Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rob. This is RH Midwest Comics, and I'm doing another price analysis on a big key issue. And yes, this time we're choosing Fantastic Four issue number 1, first appearance of Marvel's first family. And why am I choosing this one? Well, first of all, one of the biggest keys in the Silver Age, and there has been a lot of talk recently because the movie is gaining steam. So yep, another reboot, first time by Disney and the MCU. So I think people are excited, first of all, right? We're hoping, everyone's got their fingers crossed that they finally get this movie right. I think the original movie and the reboot, they were okay. I wouldn't call them a disaster, but they weren't great by any means. So anyway, right, there's been a lot of talk. There are rumors on the cast. I think some of them have been confirmed and some of them are rumors, but I think Adam Driver is going to be Mr. Fantastic, Margot Robbie, the Invisible Woman, and then the other two people I'm not really familiar with. Paul Mescal, if I'm saying that right, he's rumored to be the Human Torch, and then David Diggs is rumored to be the Thing. I don't know if any of these are 100% accurate or completely true, but and I don't know anything about Paul and David, but I'm curious to see where it goes. I want to see a good movie. So we're going to look at Fantastic Four number 1, and we're going to see if all the movie hype is doing anything to prices recently. And I think we all know that the whole movie hype thing is kind of a thing of the past. There have just been so many Marvel movies and superhero movies that the effect isn't nearly what it used to be. When a movie was announced or a cast person was announced, they would skyrocket, right? Almost every big key issue relative to that movie would skyrocket. Not really happening anymore. In some cases, you might see a slight bump, and in other cases, nothing at all. So, all right, let's get into it. Where do I get my data from? It's GP analysis, and here's what it is. Here's what it looks like. And you can see, right, the highest grade that's ever sold is a 9.4, and that was back in 2011. So we're not going to use all these grades. We're going to use the ones that have sold in the past 3 months, and then I'm going to take all those grades back to 2020 like I do it. I start all of my price analysis at 2020 in January, and then I bring it all the way up to the current month, which is, we're going to go through May, right? We're in June. June's not over yet, so we're going to go through May, and we're going to see what all these grades have looked like over the past 3.5 years. Man, I've been doing these different price trends for a while now, and it's if I go all the way back to 2020, it's almost a 3.5 year span of data that we're looking at now. But I think that's a good span. So anyway, the first grade we get to that sold in the past 3 months, that's blue universal without any signatures or any kind of variants, things like that, pedigrees. I'm kind of taking pedigrees out of it as well, is a 4.5. So that sold in May of 2023. I'm just giving you a snapshot here of what the trends look like, and then I'm going to get into my normal slide that shows everything kind of combined together and what it's done over the past 3.5 years. But you can see, right, big increase, COVID boom, decrease, and then a little bit up at the end. 4.0, same thing, it had a sale in April, so I'm going to use this data point. Again, similar trend, way up, correction, slightly increase at the end. 3.5, big up, huge drop. 3.0, up and then down, and then a jump here at the end. And then 2.5, up and continues to drop. Same with the 1.8, so on and so forth. I go down to a 1.0, big drop, 1.0, big drop in the 1.5. But what does it all mean when you look at the data all together? Let's go take a look. All right, so here it is, our fancy graph. We're going to chart everything again I start the chart all the way back almost 3.5 years ago, January of 2020, and we're going to go all the way on the right side of the chart to the most recent completed month, which is May of 2023. So almost 3.5 years of data. All right, so again, looking at all those grades that have had recent sales, if I take them back all the way to January of 2020, what does the average sale price look like? So we started out in January, $8,692, the average price of sold Fantastic Four #1s. And then we know what happens, right? So a little bit of a drop there, but then the slow growth. COVID kicks in, the COVID money kicks in, and we see it start to rise. Huge jumps, but a little bit different than the last one I did. The high point, we're going to stop at the high point here. The high point doesn't happen until May of 2022, and we see it goes up to $21,383. Huge increase of 146%. If you watch the last one I did, which was Amazing Spider-Man 129, First Appearance of the Punisher, that one spiked in June of 2021, which was, way back here. And you can see, right, big jump. Look at it, it's almost a vertical jump. So Fantastic Four #1 saw a similar trend back by the middle of 2021, but it kept growing. It didn't get to its height until a year later. And in fact, even though ASM 129 hit its peak a year earlier in May or June of 2021, it dropped and then had another peak that was almost as high around the same time frame. So ASM 129 hit 2 peaks. Fantastic Four had 1 peak, and here it is. Again, May of 2022, 146% up. And then what happens between the high point and the end of 2022? We know what happens. It drops, but by how much? So here we go. May through December. A little bit of a jump in December. Average comes in at $16,303, a drop of 24%. So no surprise that we saw a correction, but a little bit surprised it didn't drop more than that. So it's a 24% decrease. ASM 129 saw a 46% decrease by the end of 2022, but it also had a significant higher high point. It jumped almost 250%, just under that. So ASM 129, higher increase, bigger drop. But if you remember, now the big question is what happens in 2023, January through May. So I'm going to go through that point by point here. If you remember ASM 129, we actually saw an increase. It went up by 13%. Now that date only went up through the end of April, but January through April, it actually went up 13%. So you can kind of form the opinion, at least on that book, that maybe the correction had finished and prices were stabilizing and increasing a little bit. So what happens to Fantastic Four #1? Let's find out. January data point came in. Huge drop. The biggest drop of any single month during the correction. So the correction continues into January. What happened in February? A little bit up. Then in March, another fairly significant drop. And then April and May, a little bit up, then a little bit down. Finally coming in at $12,641 in the average sale price, and down another 22%. So we get an extra data point with Fantastic Four #1 now that May is over, and the correction continues. So if you look at this overall chart, and if I were to draw a line, I'm not going to because the chart will get too busy, but if I were to draw a line from the starting point at the beginning of 2020 all the way till now, I think the slope of that line seems somewhat, I'll use the word normal. I don't know if everyone would agree with that, but to me, it seems like this book might be where it should be right now. And all this garbage in here in the middle, all these artificial inflated prices, gone, right? Thank goodness, because we needed a huge correction like this. Now, I'm not going out and telling anyone to go buy a Fantastic Four number one. Please don't take that as my message. What I'm saying is, it might be a good time to buy if you're looking to get into the market because, you know, it's done. Like I said, all these artificial prices, that long gone. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. Is the value going to go up or go down? Nobody knows that, right? We know that inflation is slowing a little bit. It's still high, but it has slowed down. And I'm not going to get into a whole lot of economics. I'm certainly not going to get into politics. But I think if you were to buy a copy right now at one of these reasonable prices, you're not going to lose too much or gain too much in the next few months, right? Unless there's some sort of massive announcement for the movie, which I don't know. I don't know if any rumors have come out lately, but in general, I don't think you have to worry too much about that anymore. And hopefully we just continue to see very slow growth over time on a big key issue like this. So that's it with the price analysis. What are we going to do next? I'd like to hear in your comments, right? What do you want to see? Do you want to see more Silver Age, more Bronze Age? I've had a couple requests to do Golden Age books, and I've got to figure out how to do that because Golden Age books don't have nearly as much data, nearly as many sales as we see for Silver and Bronze. So I'm thinking about how to go about doing that. Do I do a whole set of books? Do I do individual books? What do I do there? So more to come on that. Also, DC. I haven't done any DC books yet. I'm thinking of, maybe first Batgirl, Poison Ivy. Give me some suggestions if you want to see some DC books. And I know I've got to do some Copper and Modern stuff too. So I don't know what's next. We'll see. So that's it. Hope you liked it. Let me know. Leave a comment. Let me know if you just want to chat about stuff. I love doing that. But that's it for today. Until next time, have a great day.